Hi everyone, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to solve problem number 1 from your worksheet. This is a typical stoichiometry problem where you would have to convert between grams to moles of another chemical, or maybe from moles to moles of another chemical. Stoichiometry is what you would do in a kitchen when you're cooking. When you're given a recipe, you are given certain ratios of things, kind of like when you were working with the sandwiches. And then you go in your refrigerator and you notice that you might not have the exact number of things that the recipe wants you to have, but you know stoichiometry, you know how the ratios work, and you can figure out how to adjust that recipe so that you still end up with what you want. Okay, so let's get started. We always want to underline our given and unknown in the problem. Okay, so if I am going to be very careful here. I'm going to go ahead and underline my given in the problem. And that doesn't just mean the number, that means the number, the unit, and the stuff, that chemical that's given. So my given is 124 grams of phosphorus. Okay, so I can write it down as 124 grams of P. Okay, and then I want to change my color here. I'm going to underline my unknown, and my unknown is how many moles of phosphorus that's equal to. So notice the stuff is exactly the same here, no issues here. But I'm going to go ahead and write it down as question mark mole of P. Okay, so my given and unknown are done. Now, second step. So the first step was to figure out what my given and unknowns were in a problem. My second step, very important step, is to look for those two substances. In our case, it's just the same thing in our recipe, and the recipe is the chemical equation. Okay, so in my recipe, what is the relationship between grams of P and moles of P? Okay, this balanced equation is written in a balanced mass format. We learned that a few weeks ago. Okay, so I know that for grams of P, I have 31 grams of that. And for moles of P, it's that number in front of the P. Okay, so that means if I were to write a for every statement for that, or for ratio, I know that 1 mole of P, because 1 is that number, invisible number in front of P, is equal to 31 grams of P. Okay, now I am going to go back to my given and my unknown, and I'm going to put it into the ratio so that my units match up. Okay, the first unit in my first fraction is moles of P, and moles of P is what I'm looking for. Okay, moles of P is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and put down question mark moles of P, and the thing that I am given is the grams of P. So that's going to go on the bottom of my ratio. Okay, from now on, we're just going to go ahead and cross multiply and divide. I am looking for moles of P, the stuff in blue. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and multiply 1 mole of P times 124 grams of P divided by 31 grams of P. It's very important that you get rid of your units here. And when you do 1 times 124, it's 124 divided by 31. That will give you 4 moles of P, and you should be able to check your answer within that same box. Thank you.